All right, let's make the summer rice. Let's make the summer paella. It's a paella made with products you have in the summer, from whatever you have in the countryside. I like to break it this way because the flavor is more intense in the paella. And the eggplant too. I already told you that this rice is made with what was available in the countryside at that moment. So in the summer, what we had was this, and what we did was this. And now let's move on to the tomato. Look at this beautiful tomato. What a lovely thing. We will use only half a tomato because there is a lot. We will grate it and start making the broth. The 2 chopped garlic cloves also, with a splash of olive oil, always virgin, and preferably from your own region. We are going to start by frying the pepper so it doesn't splatter, and we add a little bit of salt to the meat. We are going to fry the eggplant as well. The eggplant is a very high conductor of flavors because now, for example, it will be absorbing the olive oil. Then when we put it on top, it will release oil and absorb the broth from the paella as well. 2001. And when we mix it with the rice, wow, it truly is a delight. This was done here all the time in the summer. Indeed, when there were eggplants, and the grated eggplant from here in Gandia, of course, prepared. One of the best eggplants you can find. If you ever get to try it, honestly, you'll realize how sweet it is. It has no spiciness. It has much fewer seeds than the others. And honestly, it's spectacular for everything. For stuffing, for stewing, for roasting. It's spectacular. Well, we have it ready now. Let's take everything out and set it aside for later. We will start by heating the pan. We add a little bit of olive oil. This time we added chicken to the summer paella. You could also add ribs if you didn't have chicken but had ribs instead. If you had rabbit, you could also add rabbit and not add the chicken. So more or less you added what you had, right? If you had rabbit, use rabbit. If you had chicken, use chicken. Whatever you had on hand, you can add, but don't mix all 3 things because then it won't work. The flavor of so much meat was already too strong. That's why we always tell you that these paellas or these rice dishes came out of hunger, from having a chicken, having half a chicken, and with that, a bit of vegetables. We made a rice dish for 5, 6, or 7 people. And that's what it was about then. And that's what it's about now. Those flavors have also been passed down over time. And well, they are in the homes here in Valencia. They don't go out much. But what we want is to give them visibility and let people know about the rice dishes that were really made in homes here in Valencia, especially in the Sapo region. Now let's add the green beans. They added some small meatballs to saute a bit. It's another type of Valencian paella. Let's add the tomato. This time we used natural tomato. We have paellas with natural tomato or with the tomato that I use, which is very tasty. You can also find it on my page whenever you want. You can see it there. We have the garlic. 2 chopped cloves that are lightly sauteed with the tomatoes. and then we are going to add the water. This one goes with water. You can also add chicken broth if you want, along with the vegetables it has. Normally, as I have already told you, this is a countryside paella, and usually chicken broth was not added. It was water that was used. Now we will let it boil over high heat, like the paella, for about 15-20 minutes. It has a slight vegetable flavor, not too much, without an excess of vegetables. However, it has a unique taste. Now we are going to add the mountain prawn. Look at these prawns. Such beautiful prawns. Fresh, just cut from the plant. And we will add the eggplant. Now, with the little broth that remains, which has absorbed the oil from the eggplant earlier, and the mixture that will now form with the broth, the two things will fuse together, and the eggplant will soak it all up. That will create a flavor and texture that you can't even imagine. And with just a few ingredients, they could feed as many people as needed. If 10 people came, they made it for 10. If 5 came, then for 5. Well, this paella is for 4, but up to 5 people can eat. So, with just a few simple ingredients, we've made a truly exquisite paella. Let's give it those 40 seconds on high heat to toast it without burning it. You have to pay very close attention to this paella. There's just a little bit of broth left. But now it's indeed starting to cook. You can already hear it. And now is when we have to turn off the heat and let it rest. Well, here you have the summer paella, the paella made with what was available in the countryside, our paella.